let's do a May garden tour. And I'm starting out in the greenhouse because hopefully when I walk outside here, you can hear me. We've got cicadas. I don't know if you do, but we have cicadas going crazy. And like stuff all down. I don't know if there's been chickens in here or what. But we have cicadas going crazy. They weren't really that loud until like the last day or two. And they've just really picked up. I still have a little bit of this going on. It's starting to heal, so that's much better. The chickens are up, and I can see there's some. They got out a while ago. I was putting some stuff in there, and they flew and they got out. Hopefully they get their little heinies back in there, because my husband just power washed the back patio, and because of them mainly. He did leave me some cardboard in here, so I do have some extra cardboard to put out in the garden. But I've got some marigolds over here. They aren't doing super well. I just found some in the garden earlier. I'll show you those in just a minute. And then I have some seeds. These are the only other seeds I have in here. The rest of them are actually out in the garden. So let's go see if we can do this. I've got somebody riding the dirt bike. There's just all kinds of stuff going on around here today. I knew lilies are coming up though, and I do have like plants in. I'm just putting plants everywhere. I've got pumpkins right here on the trellis. We've got a nice elephant ear coming up now in this pot. The wild violets, if you plant wild violets, they will go crazy, just saying. This is yarrow that I pulled out of the yard, which you guys have seen that before. We've got, this is the horseradish that I moved over here thinking that maybe I got it all out of the other spot, which was a mistake. Now I'm going to have it here. Got some comfrey. If you ever plant comfrey, you're going to have comfrey, probably forever. I haven't cut this back yet. I need to. Because this I will probably cut back completely, and it will all come back up again. As you can see, I don't have a short supply of it. I have a ton of it. This is the asparagus bed, which I do have a couple in there, maybe one that I need to break off, but that is kind of weedy. I've got like volunteer stuff everywhere. I've got a potato here. I've got some little tomatoes here. So this bed is kind of a mess. The carrots are up. I did pick one row, and I planted a couple little squash is what I'm hoping is here. I made a big mistake and planted some stuff. My mistake was starting seeds and not like taking a picture, marking them, something. So I have no idea what they are, but they're like cucumbers and squashes, zucchinis and stuff like that. So basically putting them out and guessing what they are. Should be fun. So lots of carrots, which I already said I did pull one. And so I've got carrots. There's some cabbage and stuff in here. I don't know how well that will work. We'll see. But I mean, like I have burdock coming up in here. I've got dill coming up in here. This is the beet bed, which actually did pretty good. The beets are coming up really well. I do have some dill coming up. I've got potatoes. Like, I don't even know. Potatoes coming up. There's even a tomato in here. This is going to be chaos gardening this year is what I'm thinking. I even have mint. I don't know. I must have grabbed some whenever I redid the beds out of the other spot, because I only have it in one spot. But now it is over here, and I don't really like that. But I've got burdock in here. I've got dill. This one really doesn't have a whole lot in it other than stuff that's coming up volunteer, and kale. But something's already eating the kale, even though I have this net. So I know it's not the chickens, but I'll have to figure out what that is. This needs something else in it, though. The green beans are doing... they're doing pretty good. I've got some tomatoes that voluntarily came up. I'm hoping they're not the ones that I don't like, those really, really tiny ones, because I have little tomato plants coming up everywhere, and I'm wondering if that's what they are. But I do have more dill. I do not have a short supply of dill. I don't even have to plant it. It just comes up. Now over here, I am excited about this nasturtium that did come up. Not sure what that is. There's also supposed to be calendula in here, and I do not see that coming up. But there is a tomato plant, of course, and some dill. Dill and tomatoes everywhere, apparently. This was all the lettuce. I think this is red flare lettuce that I pulled out of the garden that came up volunteer. There's a ton of it. I've already picked some, took it in, and freeze-dried it so I can powderize it. And so I put a little plant right here. Hopefully this is like a little squash or something like that. And then I need to go ahead and harvest this, and so I can plant something else in here. I do have cucumbers, believe it or not, back here, but they're not doing so well because the sun can't get to them. This was actually full of spinach. No, I've not ever had luck growing spinach. This was full of mint because that's where the mint is back there. It's massive this year. And so it will probably come back up, but I have planted 3 little, like you can see some of these. Well, that right there is a morning glory that's getting pulled out of there. But you can see I've got 3 of these here. I do not know what they are. I'm hoping that they are not like watermelon or anything, because I don't even know. That's kind of what that one looks like. But this one has I don't have dirt in it yet. Comfrey, there's some burdock in here coming up with it. And just an example, like I threw all this is mint, threw all this down. This has been down here for like 2 days. I mean, it's still green. That's how, like, it survives. It's a survivor. So if we go over here, like, yeah, see, you got like chicken seed. They're not supposed to be out. I'm going to get in trouble. Let's see. I do have a dahlia coming up over there. I finally figured get this situated so maybe that the chickens will stay out of it. Here's 3 more though of what I don't know what they are. So we'll see. Oh, another little dahlia right there in the corner. This is the tomato bed, which is, these are all volunteer. My tomato starts did not do so well, which I'll show you those in a little bit. I just have all this up to keep the chickens out. It's working okay so far, I guess. I won't worry about it too much if I decide to keep them completely up, but I haven't decided that I'm going to do that yet. But, so there should be 10 tomato plants in here. Some of them look like they took off a little bit better than the other ones, but I'm trying to get everything cleaned up. This bed still needs some stuff other than weeds. This one needs some care. This is the onion bed, which I've never really had luck with onions, so I'm not sure that I will try them again. I don't know, unless you have some tips for me. It's really weedy, and I got to figure out what to do there. This one has been weeded a couple of times, and I've pulled out some kohlrabi and just kind of thrown the weeds back down, just to kind of keep the other weeds from coming back up. And I have planted some little things in here that I don't know what they are. I'm hoping they're like squash or zucchini, because it kind of looks like they are, because they already look like they're starting to put on like little flowers and such. This one I did get to today and weeded a little bit. So I do have some kohlrabi in here that didn't really take off because of the weeds, but I do have a couple of and I can't remember what these are. If these are cannellini beans, I think these are cannellini beans. There were supposed to be 4. It looks like 2 came up. And of course, there's some horseradish back there. And I've got some more kohlrabi down here that I will pick soon, and some dill. And then I will completely weed this, get all the weeds out, and plant something else in here. So I messed up and put the tomatoes in these 2 beds, which is okay. They are doing really, really well. But I did forget that I actually bought grow bags for the tomatoes, or for the potatoes, because that way I can just dump them out and get all of them. I don't have to worry about digging them up. But I totally forgot about those grow bags until my sister mentioned hers, and then I remembered I had some. So I need to make a list of something. Make a list of what I'm actually going to do. Be a little bit more organized. I don't know. I do okay some years, and some years I don't do so well. This is a chaos year, I'm just going to say. So, you know, I love cardboard in the garden, so I've kind of started to decide where I want the, like, little pavilion, or like the little spot where I'm going to sit. This is actually crooked now that I was looking at it after I put it, but it just kind of gives me an idea of where I want the grapes. So I'm going to kind of put those there, and then have to figure out somewhere else. I'm going to have to shift it like this way a little bit, I think. Of course, there are 4 beds over here. This is like just where this is like storage area. I don't really have anything in these beds because they don't really have a whole lot of dirt in them necessarily, but they do have like tomatoes coming up here. There's another one in that bed right there. There's another one right there. And then there's something coming up right here. All volunteer, so I'm not really sure what kind of tomatoes. I'm gonna let them grow, but this is probably those little cucamelons that I don't really like, but I will give the chickens. So if we look here, these are all my starts. So these are all pumpkins that I started. These are getting their second leaves on now. These are all melons and like big acorn squash, winter squash and such. And then These are tomatoes and peppers that are finally kind of coming on, not doing super well, and stuff that I don't really know what they are. Now, my rhubarb was all along this fence, and I probably made the mistake of having all this there, and so it didn't come up. I'm hoping it didn't just completely die off. I have a mess. My fence is falling apart. I have to fix it. Just like there's just stuff everywhere, it seems like. I do have, though, hibiscus coming back up. Some burdock where it's actually supposed to be. This is not supposed to be in here. But this is borage. And then I've got all kinds of stuff coming up here. I basically dumped seed in here, mixed it around, and are seeing what will actually come up and what won't. This says it's lemon balm, but I don't believe it's supposed to be because I don't think that's what I planted. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see what's growing in the herb bed. It's actually kind of taken off this year. So the lamb's ear actually started from seed last year, and it's came up now and it's flowering. It's so gorgeous. I've never seen it like that. So I've got the feverfew came back up, which is exciting and so cool. And I've got oregano here. I've got the chamomile. This I actually moved out of the garden and it's coming up. So you would just harvest these little flowers. They're just so adorable. So I have lemongrass back here. I had to replant that because my husband cut it off and I think it died. My rosemary, don't think it's gonna do. Actually, that's lavender, and back there's rosemary. We had a really cold spell and it just did not do well. This is called Self-Heal. I pulled it out of the yard, and after taking a picture of it, and it does have medicinal uses, which I'm going to learn about, and I stuck it here so that it could grow, and it has done really, really well. Now, if you look along here, you can see all these little starts right here, all these little plants coming up. That's all spilanthes. I sprinkled seeds everywhere last year, and now they're coming up. That's what all this is around here. All those little plants. Now that I move my hand out of the way, you can see those. And I've just got cilantro coming up out here. I didn't want to cut it down. And in here as well, where I sprinkled seeds, and I guess some fell. This is catnip. It actually of the, I believe, the mint family, and it is going crazy. It was like this size when I bought it, and it is really thriving right here. So this is sage. I had a huge sage plant and it just died on me. I guess it was too old, but this here is hyssop and it spreads like crazy. So if you ever have hyssop, no, you'll have it probably forever because it germinates. I mean, it just germinates and spreads so quickly. It also has gorgeous purple flowers. I do have a few weeds over here, but I do have some bee balm that I got on clearance coming back up. Some lemon balm that I think I pieced out and moved over here. Some black-eyed Susan, it looks like. These are phlox. I even have some, I don't know what that one's actually called. I need to figure out what that one is called. But I even have elderberries that I missed, if you've seen that in my other video. And I can't remember what this one is either. It's something that I think I bought. And then this is thyme. I have some thyme up by the house, by the herb bed, but this one is doing so much better. It's just, well, it's massive actually, but I think it likes this soil. It's kind of a sandy soil, so they seem to like that better. Got my garlic here that just kind of stays. My poor roses look horrible. I just pruned all those, and they look kind of bad. I am pretty excited though, because I did find these. I have 2 of my golden seals that I planted a couple years ago coming up. Probably need to move those somewhere else, but for now they're just gonna hang out. Lots of dill, and I think I should have, well, there should be a loofah in there. I don't know if it's gonna do very good though. So the elderberry starts that I did have grown quite a ways. They have gotten quite big. They're not gonna stay here. I think I'm gonna move them out into like a food forest that I've been trying to do for forever, but I am going to take this, and this is all going to be fenced in, I think, and maybe just with a natural border, and then we'll have a path through it. So like you would say, you would enter right here, and then, you know, it may like meander through, get my hand out of the way, meander through and come back out over here, so that there's just a path and I don't have to mow this, and everything can kind of grow together. And we'll have like strawberries as ground cover, since, you know, they're doing okay in there, but not great. But I do have strawberries that I planted underneath the blueberry bushes a while back. This one's massive, and I even pruned this, and it's like huge. I really should have pruned it, I guess, a little bit better. Let's see if we got blueberries on this one here. Oh, look at there. I got a blueberry. Yum. Look at that gorgeous little thing. Nothing like fresh blueberries right off the bush. Now over here, these come on a little bit later. They're actually kind of hard to see right now because they're green, but they actually turn pink, and these are so cool. These are pink lemonade blueberries. I actually got my first harvest off of them last year for some reason. I don't know. This, I don't even know what this is. Maybe an apricot or a plum, and it has gotten so big after I pruned it. It's crazy. I've got to prune it again because there's lots of branches in the middle that don't need to be there. I do still have gooseberries, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on these, pick some of these. This one, again, this one has done really well since I pruned it. It's a lot bigger now. And then my other gooseberry over here, this one, it's doing okay. And then these are the new ones, the two little blueberries that I got. I don't know about this one because the goats did get this tree. You can see the bark. So what's coming out, not really sure what that is, if it's the correct tree or not. But I do have some comfrey that I planted along with some of these trees. This tree is big and will need to be majorly pruned, and we'll see what it does. But I do have some, I think that is St. John's wort. I've got some that's coming up wild. And I've got some comfrey out here along with some weeds, but also some strawberries. And then we have a little cherry bush over here that I hopefully will not mow down again. And then, of course, another tree, I don't know what it is, but it's doing so much better now that I have trimmed it. But as you can see up here, they're like meeting, and that's not what I want. So I'll have to trim this big tree, but there are some strawberries under there as well. This one, I don't think, so this is a new peach, and I don't think it has any peaches on it actually right now. There's some comfrey down here though, but this tree, which actually got so big and then kind of split off, you can see the branch over here, it needs to be pruned back a lot because I don't want it coming up. I don't want it getting quite that big. I don't want to have to get a ladder and do it. So, but you can see it does have peaches on it, which is cool. It also has some kind of like fungus or something that I need to look at. But I have strawberries down here that they just kind of hang out. They're just kind of mulch and stuff. And then we have another tree over here, which is a pear tree that looks like it needs to be pruned again. It's got some like crazy vines with a comfrey plant. This is the caterpillar tunnel that is done, that is got weeds in it, that has not been mowed. Super hot inside there. So I've just been keeping it down because the wind catches it and takes off with it. So it's kind of been staying like that. And it will probably stay like that for a while because I'm going to have to get it. We're supposed to get rain again. This tree needs to be trimmed, but Annabelle's not happy. She knows I'm out here and I don't know what she's wanting. But so this one, I've got to fix the caterpillar tunnel before we actually put something in it because the ends are not, I don't know, they're not doing so well. And, but it's really hot in there and the weeds are really growing. So I've got to get that taken care of and get something in there. And it's just kind of a eyesore and a mess right now. So I think that's it. You didn't get to see all the herbs up there. I do have some more thyme that I was going to show you. I do have some chocolate mint and things like that that was beside the lamb's ear. But decided to come on out here and show you some of this. It's just kind of, some of it's the same, some of it's not, some of it's growing like crazy. This is like one of my favorite times of year because everything is starting to grow. Everything's starting to bloom. And it's just really pretty. And it's really cool to see God's creation just like show off and like have all these, you know, gorgeous blooms, and the insects love them. And it's just really neat to see it and to be able to be a part of that. So let me know if you're chaos gardening like I am this year, and maybe what's helping you out to stay organized if you're able to do that. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today. All right, we're going to do a tack on because I just had this thought whenever I was walking by. I don't know. Let me know what you think. So if you watch this, I know you've watched almost the whole video because this is going to be on the very end. So I'm thinking, what if I took my beds? I don't really like all this open space in the middle, and it's just weeds waiting to happen. So what if I took and put beds in like a horseshoe, like right here? I could still get all the way around them, and it would kind of like go around my, say, thing I want to put here, whatever it might be, and it would shift that way a little bit. It would give me more growing space because I do still have some beds over there to put back together. It would put me some more raised beds in here in the middle, and I don't know. Thoughts? Let me know.